Hi everybody, it's Mel here. Welcome back once again to my channel, Pebbles and Peach, and today I am so freaking ready for this video. I'm sitting with a cup of tea, have some freaking potato bread that I'm actually going to eat during this video, and today we're going to talk about some common Northern Irish and Irish phrases and get those into context for you guys. So yeah, today we're going to have a bit of crack. You might be wondering what that even means. You might think you know what it means. You might be like, someone's told me it's fun. Is it though? Have you been lied to forever? Is that the only meaning that crack has? Today we're going to find out in this video. But before we dive into the video, as always, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You guys know I really appreciate it. I honestly really do. And if you hit the little notification bell, you won't miss out on any future uploads. And this is a video that I had in mind to do for a while. I'm really looking forward to diving into this one with you guys. Surprisingly, I know a lot of you guys who follow me aren't from Northern Ireland or Ireland at all. You're from either England or America or further afield. So today I thought I would equip you guys with my Northern Irish knowledge. I have lived here for my entire life and I basically was not very well travelled until I went travelling in the van like last year. Like I barely left the place and I didn't realise how weird the stuff that we say and like the phrases that we use are until I went to other places and like kind of get head turns and raised eyebrows and people have no idea what you're saying, and like words that we overuse that other people are like, why do you say that over and over again? So today I thought I'd delve into all of that and help you guys unpack the Northern Irish and Irish lingo, phrases that we say. And I know a lot of you guys are talking about heading over here to do some van life here or just backpack around Ireland and Northern Ireland. Some of you guys are going to come out in August for the meet. So this will be really helpful for that. It'll actually help you guys understand me and understand what I'm talking about, and probably help you understand a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about on my channel. Some of these words you will hear in other countries, but most of them are pretty much exclusive to Northern Ireland and Ireland, but I've kind of numbered them from like words that I use the most or phrases that I use the most and gone down to what I use the least or hear the least anyway. But pretty much all of these, like if you guys come over here, you're pretty much guaranteed to hear all of these, so it'll make things a little less confusing for you guys whenever you visit or come to stay here. So at the top of my list, number one is something I say a lot, and whenever we were traveling and we spent a lot of time with our friends from Australia, hi guys if you're watching, they pointed out how much I actually say this word, and like I knew it, but then they kind of made me realize how much I actually do it, and it is we. Now we is obviously not an exclusive word to Ireland or Northern Ireland, and I'm not talking about we as in when you sit to the toilet and we basically say it for like everything. So like for example, I used to work in retail and I would say, do you need a wee bag? If you take a wee seat, do you want a wee cup of tea? Like I'm shocking for saying we, and I say it for everything. And the weird thing is what confuses people is the things aren't even we. Like how can you have a wee seat? It's something that we just kind of say, or something that I say whenever I'm trying to like be polite stuff. So yeah, number one is we. Number two is 100%. Now again, not exclusive to us, but it's just something that you'll hear a lot. So like you'll get this if someone's like, you fancy going to this gig tonight? 100%. It's kind of like saying, yeah, I'll be there. You up for a cup of coffee? 100%. How you feeling today, mate? 100%. Sorry, I literally stopped to eat some potato bread, which I will tell you guys about in a second. So yeah, that's kind of 100%. I don't know if that needs further explained. It basically just means like you're down, 100% mate, or you're feeling great. Now, number three is crack. I do say this a lot. This is pretty much how I start nearly every conversation with someone if I bump into them or if I'm like texting them. Now, you may have been lied to. A lot of people say like crack means fun, bit of banter, bit of fun, crack. You know, that thing that we did was really fun. That person is good crack, aka that person is good fun. But it's not exclusive. In Northern Ireland and Ireland, we like to have words that have a million meanings, and we are quite sarcastic. We have a very sarcastic sense of humour, which is something you'll find when you're here. So we kind of take our own phrases and like turn them on their heads. There are words that do that more than crack, but like for example, crack can mean he is good crack, as in he is good fun. Last night was great crack, as in last night was great fun. But like I said, I usually start my conversations with this, and that will be, what's the crack? So like you bump into someone on the street and you're like, oh Johnny, what's the crack? And it basically just means, what's been going on in your life, how have you been. It's like an all-encompassing phrase. So if someone says, was the crack good, we don't mean like the drug crack, we mean like, was that thing really fun? The crack was 90 is another thing you'll hear, and that means that the thing was really freaking fun. It was above crack, it was beyond crack. But what you don't want to be is no crack. Like, you don't want to be someone who's just no crack, like, because that just means that you're boring and you're no fun. So if you're over here, you don't want to be no crack. Like, you want to be able to have a bit of crack, have a laugh, have a bit of fun. So yeah, those are kind of like the different meanings of crack. I hope that isn't confusing. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys think that that was different here, or did you know that already? Did you just think that it meant fun? But yeah, literally, like, my conversations, if you're not from here, I typically don't do it because I know a lot of people won't understand the conversation, but my friends, my family, like if I bump into someone on the street, I'll be like, oh, what's the crack? Number 4 is BALTIC, and again, not exclusive to here, but we like to over-exaggerate. Especially me, if I go out and it's a little bit cold and I come back in and Aaron's like, what's it like outside? I'll be like, it's absolutely BALTIC. I say that a lot. Like I said, these are from kind of like my most common and most used, down to the ones I use the least. But yeah, you'll definitely hear that if you're over here, because it's usually BALTIC. Number 5 is use and YOU'S'UNS, and that's kind of referring to like a group, your group of friends. So like, do yous want to come out tonight? What were YOU'S'UNS up to yesterday? It's quite a common thing here. We just kind of, instead of saying stuff like, what are you guys up to? We've just kind of compassed it into, what are YOU'S'UNS doing tonight? That kind of thing. Next up, we have EEJIT. EEJIT is one of my favorite words. I use it a lot. It's basically actually an Irish word and it means idiot, but it's not an offensive thing here. Like, if someone calls you a bit of an EEJIT, it's not the same as going, mate, you're an idiot. Like, it's a totally different thing. So if someone's like, oh, she's a bit of an EEJIT, like, it typically means they're a bit silly. Like, I would refer to myself as an EEJIT, and I think I actually do in my Instagram bio. Yeah, an EEJIT is just someone who's like a bit funny, likes a bit of a laugh. Oh, he's a right EEJIT. Your man there, he's a bit of an EEJIT. And that is EEJIT, really. So it's not, if you get called an EEJIT, it's not someone calling you an idiot or being like offensive to you. It's like kind of a term of endearment. We have a weird way of showing other people that we like them. Like, we tend to like offend people, but we're not really being offensive. But like, basically in Northern Ireland, if someone's like a bit of an arsehole to you, it means that they like you as opposed to the people who are polite to you. Kind of. Hope that made sense. Not in all cases, obviously, like, you know, but typically, yeah, we like basically make fun of our friends, and if they can't take it, then they don't have any banter, which is our next one. Kind of similar to someone who's got no crack. Like, if you can't take a joke, you can't laugh at yourself, then mate, you've got no banter. So banter is, again, kind of similar word to crack. It means like fun. Like, last night was good banter. So basically you can kind of use banter in the same way as crack, except for you can't be like, what's the banter? That doesn't make any sense. Only what's the crack. Don't get them confused. 7 is one that you'll have heard me talk about in one of the videos where I did get wrote off, and it's wrote off. Basically here in Northern Ireland, I don't know if it's the same down south, probably is because it's all very similar, the lingo, but basically you can use any word to mean that you got drunk. So wrote off is one, which is whenever you're like really, really drunk. Literally any word. Like, people will understand what you're saying. You'd be like, I was totally pajamaed last night. I was totally, oh, off my face. We use that a lot. So like, if you're really drunk, like if I get really, really drunk and wake up the next day and I'm like, can't remember a thing, I was like, I was actually totally off my face last night. What actually happened? So yeah, drunk, we kind of tend to say, we don't really say drunk. It doesn't even feel natural to me. We tend to say things like wrote off, wrecked, off her face. That is drunk to us. Similar to that, along the same vein, we have keep her lit. Typically is used when someone is drinking, right? And they don't think they can drink anymore. And your friend will be like, oh, come on mate, keep her lit. Like, just keep going with the thing, have fun. If you're at a party and someone's like, I'm gonna go home, be like, oh no mate, keep her lit, come on. Like, it's kind of something that you use to like encourage, sort of. Keep her lit to encourage. But yeah, kind of like keep the fire going. 9 is I. We're kind of like a bunch of pirates. We use I for yes. So, did you go there last night? I. Are you feeling a bit rough today? I. We just use I a lot. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Next one I use pretty much every day. Gonna go for a wee dander. A dander is basically like a short stroll, a little walk. You're gonna dander into town. It means you're just gonna walk into town. So it's basically another word for walk. Next up we have dead on, and I'm gonna couple this with sound because they both mean pretty much the same thing. kind of. So like if you're described as dead on, someone's like, oh, I heard you met Joanne, what's she like? I'd be like, oh yeah, she's dead on. It means like she's cool, didn't have any beef with her, didn't have any problems. You're dead on. And sound kind of means the same thing, but dead on, like I said with a lot of our phrases, we can have double meanings, can also be kind of spinned on its head, and like you'll hear it a lot in a sarcastic way. So like if you're kind of not sure whether someone's like fibbing to you or not, or lying to you, you could say like, I'm it dead on. Again, another one that we kind of can turn, it basically depends on how it's said to you. So if someone's like, oh, he's really dead on, that means they're cool. If someone's like, I'm it dead on, that means I don't really believe a word you just said. The next one is arse. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically another word for butt. Sit on your arse, fell on your arse. I tend to say this a lot in a phrase that I always get wrong. I think the phrase is meant to be the arse end of nowhere, but I say the back arse of nowhere, which apparently makes no sense, and I've kind of made up myself. But arse end of nowhere, you'll hear a lot, basically means, I use this a lot when I was traveling. So like when we were traveling, Aaron and I would find ourselves in the arse end of nowhere. It means that you're kind of like in the middle of nowhere, lost. I actually took another potato bread break, I'm so sorry. This is like the most Northern Irish I think I've ever read on my channel. Another word that we use for arse that you'll hear, maybe probably not as regularly, is hoop. Like she fell on her hoop. It's just what we say. The next one is one that you'll 100% hear, and it is bout ye. And I think that's quite explanatory. Basically means about ye. Again, it can be used as like a greeting. It means like, how are you? What about you? Kind of similar to what's the crack. Like it just means like, how are you? What's been happening? Next we have feck off, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? But it's typically not used as like F off. Like it's not someone being nasty to you. It'll be like, again, in like an endearing conversation where someone's like, oh, you clearly fancy that guy. You'd be like, oh, feck off. Like, no, I don't, you know? So you don't really typically hear it when someone is like being an asshole or anything. You'll just hear it more whenever someone's like, oh, feck off, like shut up. So it's not the same as like F off, which you do also hear a lot here, but it's different. Next we have catch yourself on, and it's kind of if someone's been a bit of, I keep going to say all these words, but it's literally because I use them in conversation. So I was about to say if someone's been a bit of an EEJIT or done something stupid, like if I'm wearing like an outfit and I clearly don't look good in it and someone's like, oh, you look amazing, I would say catch yourself on. Like I know what you're saying isn't true. Catch yourself on. I actually think that's pretty good context for that. Next is I tell a lie, and we say this all the time, like, and it's such a weird thing that we do say all the time. So like, say I was to say to you, oh, last Monday I went to see Steel Panther, and then I'll be like, oh sugar, I tell a lie, it was actually Tuesday. And it's kind of like a little thing that we use to like correct ourselves. So I tell a lie. Another one you might hear, depends on the situation, it's very circumstantial, is your ma's your da. And you might be looking at me with like literally furrowed brow being like, Mel, what the heck are you talking about? But not kidding, I've said this before, I've heard this before, like it is definitely something that's commonly said here. And basically if someone's telling tall tales or telling a bit of a fib, then someone will be like, aye, and your ma's your da, meaning a word you said just isn't true at all. So like if I just make up some ridiculous story, be like, me and Steven Tyler went snowboarding last week, someone will be like, Mel, yeah, and your ma's your da. So it's basically like you're talking out your arse. Next is FEGS. I don't personally use this a lot because I don't smoke FEGS, but that is basically cigarettes, but it's spelled like FEGS or Z in some cases. But yeah, people smoke FEGS. Someone will be like, here, would you go get me a pack of eggs? Like, that's pretty common. Scundered is embarrassed. If I was embarrassed, then I would be completely scundered. Like, if someone put me on the spot in a situation, I'd be like, why did you do that? I was completely scundered. So it just means embarrassed. Bake tends to mean face, and this will be used when someone goes, shut your bake. Like, stop talking, shut up. Shut your bake, shut your mouth. So your bake is basically like your face or your mouth. If someone's got like too much makeup on, someone will be like, look at the state of your bake. Like, I think that's kind of self-explanatory as well. We're so nice to each other over here, aren't we? I realise like all the things we say are basically like offending someone. Like, we're shocking. We are actually really nice people. Like I genuinely say, like a lot of these things, even though they sound bad, like we use them in a totally different way. Like they're not meant to offend most of the time. Obviously some of the time they do, but like whenever someone's like shut your bake, like it's not normally said in like an aggressive, nasty way. It's just like, shut up. Next we have so it is. I try to stop saying this because it really annoys me when people do this. It's like, so how this will be used is I will tell you how it is, so it is. Like, it's literally just this weird little thing that we like attach onto sentences to like fill spaces in conversations. Like, if you haven't noticed, we generally talk like quite fast, and during conversations there isn't many gaps, and a lot of people complain that Northern Irish people talk really fast on the internet. It's just like how we are. We don't like dead empty spaces in conversations, so this is kind of like a weird filler. I don't use this an awful lot, but definitely there is a lot of people here that do, and they would typically follow like it is, that's crap situation, and someone would say it is, so it is. Like, it's annoying, even annoys me, but people do say it a lot here. Next we have BEEZER, and like I used to hear this more like whenever I was younger. Don't hear it as much anymore, but it just means like BEEZER means like, again, another word for like good. How was last night? Yeah, it was BEEZER. But yeah, it's not something I hear as much anymore. I don't know if that word's just dying out now or not. Next we have MELTER, and this has like multiple kind of things that you could use for it as well. So like, if you're describing someone who's like maybe a bit mad, like talks a lot, goes out and parties all the time, like you'd be like, yeah, they're a bit of a melter. Or you could have someone who basically just talks a lot of crap and they'd be a bit of a head melt or melter. So you can say like melter, head melt. If someone is talking too much at you and you're giving you loads of information, you could say something like, my head is actually melted, because it's like you're just giving me too much information and I can't process. So you have like melt, melted, melter, and they all kind of mean similar kind of thing. And last but not least, at least for this video anyway, we have WINDEE, and I don't mean the wind outside, I mean the thing that you look through in your house, the window. We call them the windies. You could typically hear people like, shut the windy, mate, I'll do your windies in, which means someone will come and throw a stone through your window, because Northern Ireland! Oh, I forgot to mention I'll do your knees in. I think I'll do your knees in is pretty self-explanatory anyway. It's kind of similar to I'll do your windies in. The person actually who lived in this house before me had their windies put in. Fun fact. Oh, I almost forgot before I signed off to tell you guys about potato bread. You're really like, Mel, what the heck? You talked about this at the start of the video. You haven't come back to it. I'm sitting here eating potato bread. Basically what this is it's kind of like mushed potato and flour, and we turn it into these little squares and we fry it, and it is absolutely unbelievably delicious. Like, we normally have this with like an Ulster fry. I'm just sitting it having it like a snack at the minute. You can have it with like fried mushrooms and maybe like a bit of bacon, but it works best in like a big Ulster fry. We do breakfast better than like anybody else, just throwing that out there. And if you're over here, you have to try like a good proper Irish breakfast or a proper good bit of potato bread. This stuff's actually delicious. It's definitely one of my vices. And like, it's really funny, like there are other names for this. I think my friend Johnny's granny calls this fudge, which I hadn't actually heard before, but that had me in stitches, like fudge. I actually couldn't resist eating a bit while I was holding it. It's so good. So guys, I hope that that has unpacked the Northern Irish slang phrases for you. If you have any questions, comments, let me know down in the comments section. If you're like, Mel, you forgot this and you're from Northern Ireland or Ireland, let me know in the comments. And also let me know like what's a common phrase or something that's a bit out of the ordinary from where you're from. I'd be really interested to know. Let's get a little bit of a conversation going again in the comments. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit the little notification bell as well. You guys know I really, really appreciate it, and thank you for making it this far in the video if you have. I will see you guys on the next upload. Bye guys.
I'll raise a glass to you, and you'll raise a glass to me, and when they're half full, we'll top them up with whiskey.